Welcome to Hot Takes Hallway 2. Chamber of Chills. I'm going to restart. This is stupid. Chamber of Chills presents Hot Takes Hallway 2. Return of the hot takes and the spiciness. We're so jazzed up to welcome you guys to our second Hot Takes Hallway.
The sequel.
The
second one.
Yes, this is where we dive into the spiciness of all the movies we've reviewed. The past 10 movies we've reviewed. Not all of them. We've reviewed 20 now?
Yep. Right?
Yeah. Welcome back. This is our 22nd episode. I'm your co-host, Adam.
And I'm Cameron.
And this is Chamber of Chills, baby.
There's a lot of extra pressure being on camera.
I know. I just feel it.
Because normally, we're naked.
Yeah.
But now we have all the pressure.
I know. We have to wear clothes, and that's what I'm not used to.
Clothes to wear.
I know. I feel like I have to look at the camera.
You have to look at you.
Like it's the third person.
Well, it'll go naturally.
Maybe I'll just look at Anson off camera.
Previous guest on the Talk to Me episode. Which we're also diving into today. So anyway, we're jazzed up to jump back into this special episode dedicated to reading the past 10 films we've reviewed, submitted from you, our listeners, and our friends and family. Yep.
So just to give a quick recap of the 10 films we will be discussing today: The Lost Boys, The Lighthouse, Sinister, Paranormal Activity, Talk to Me, The Ring, Aliens, Pearl, The Conjuring 2, and now Carrie, of course.
That is crazy because I feel like some of those, they feel like a lifetime ago.
I know.
Like Sinister, that was so long ago.
That was 2018.
Was it? Yeah.
6 years ago. That's
I knew
what it
you
feels
for
like.
a year at that point.
I know. I just realized I said aliens. So weird. But I was trying to emphasize that it's aliens and not alien.
Yeah. I was going to say that is the now in my head.
Which apparently some people were saying Aliens is like one of the best sequel titles of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we talked about that. How you could always add, something more. But I do like Aliens. It's a good title.
Oh, that's great. All right.
Gets the point across.
Well, we're going to jump right in. So we have a lot of hot takes. And basically the way that this works is that we've collected a ton of hot takes from our community on Instagram and through our email. And basically they just rip our opinions to shreds and completely disagree with us. And it opens up a lot of fun conversation.
Yep. I haven't looked at any of them. So I'm very interested.
Cameron's
You're getting the raw dog reaction.
The raw dog reaction from your boy, Cam.
And
we're all used to that one. All right, jumping right in.
All right.
Number 40.
The Lost Boys.
1987. Okay.
My
first
ice
submission.
Is keep clinking into the mic for like 20 minutes.
Clink, 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 clink. All right. First submission was from my father, Kevin Ragsdale. His first take, which is not much of a hot take. And I love my parents to death. Their hot takes were more their opinions on the film. You know what I mean? As if they were also a part of the podcast.
It's better than no comments.
Hey, we love the comments.
Because
we'll take any comment.
My parents didn't submit jack squat. So
wow.
I'm calling them out.
Wow, Joanna.
I'm going to release a diss track right after this episode on my parents.
All right, Kendrick. All right, so my dad's first take.
Okay.
Rob Lowe was a stud.
Yeah.
Everyone was wanting to look like him, but no one had a chance. Too cool of a dude. Everyone wanted an earring. I went out and got one at 16, but my dad wouldn't let me keep it after 24 hours.
Wow.
Corey Haim was not out of the norm as a kid. Did I have a pic on my wall of Rob Lowe? No. However, sure did of Melinda Carlisle. So
I know that. She was a singer, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Dad. I don't actually. I can't put a face to a name.
So he did like Melinda Carlisle? That's what he's saying?
Okay, no, he loved Melinda Carlisle.
Loved. Yes. I got to look up a picture now.
All right. So then he said he hates scary movies, especially vampires, but loved The Lost Boys. When it came out on VHS, he watched it a couple of times.
I'll give it to him.
Is
she's a dime. Yeah, she's, nice 80s beauty.
Okay. We accept. Not a hot take, Dad. That's a great take.
It's a good take.
Just kidding. Great soundtrack on cassette. So
yeah,
it's so funny that movie commits.
My mom had the cassette, and yeah,
really,
I agree with him because my hot take was that it's the best movie soundtrack of all time.
I know.
I love the soundtrack, and I'm sticking with it
to this day. One of your spiciest takes, a good one though.
It is probably
not a bad
for sure.
One.
And I don't know if that includes though. I'm not as musically. Everybody knows this by now.
I don't know if that includes like instrumental, because like that's
fair. Soundtrack and score is so different.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to pinpoint.
Which a lot of people think they're the same, but they're not.
Me 30 seconds ago.
All right, next take from your boy's mom, Dana Ragsdale.
Oh yeah.
She thinks it was not a hot take that this made vampires sexy. So
we watch different movies.
Okay. I think Twilight did the best at that. That's
interesting.
Just a total joke.
Okay, so, you can have that opinion.
Her other takes, she became a Jason Patric fan after this. Corey and Corey were always a great duo in the 80s.
Yeah.
She saw this in the theater and bought the cassette tape right after.
How did everybody get a cassette tape?
I don't know.
Man.
Apparently just
hot
passed
commodity.
Them out
okay.
right outside the theater. Passed out personally by Melinda Carlisle, actually.
Yeah, she was there.
She was there. She thought the ending was a great twist. A remake would be great.
Agreed.
Which I think, would be awesome.
So cool.
And then for Kiefer fans, see Flatliners, a 1990 thriller by Shoemaker, also starring Kevin Bacon and Julia Roberts. Music by James Newton.
Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
That's actually really good. My mom also loves that movie. Maybe there's a trend here. Maybe she just really likes Schumacher or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, Schumacher. I you know me and names.
I don't know either.
I will just
Neither of us are.
That's my biggest hot take is I can't say anyone's name.
I think Kiefer Sutherland's in that one too, and he's also in The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Maybe my mom has a secret crush I don't know about.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Shout out.
We're
always thinking of those mothers out there.
Yeah. All right. I know you have one.
This is from my wife, good old Charlotte Long. She said, Jason Patric from The Lost Boys, who plays Michael. I know a lot of people think Michael from The Lost Boys is really attractive, but he doesn't really do it for me. I actually argued with her on this one because, I'm the dude in the relationship, but I will say that is a fine ass dude.
Yeah,
he's a good looking guy.
I think she might be a little blind for that one.
Yeah, I would do a lot to look
Who
like
is
that guy.
She said, she's obsessed with Shawn Mendes.
She likes Shawn Mendes, and there's somebody. Oh, Jalen Hurts, Eagles quarterback. Yeah. That's another one for her. Yeah,
and what's her face?
What's her face?
Anne Hathaway.
She does love Anne Hathaway.
So quite the.
I think that's her beauty standard. Anyways.
All right, Charlotte. Almost as bad as your food standards.
Our cameraman hates Anne Hathaway. That's a hot take in itself.
Okay, listen to this. We're going to take a side hot takes hallway on food. Okay, so listen to these.
Guys,
this is crazy.
This is
please do us the honor of telling us Charlotte's favorite fast food restaurants.
Yeah, my wife, when I met her, one of my fun questions that I asked her,
exposing Charlotte right now,
was what's your favorite food? Just getting to know her random questions. I'm the king of just asking really weird random questions. She said, and she still stands by this, the tuna sandwich from Subway is her all-time favorite food. She's never topped it. Of all the places I've ever taken her, I've tried to get her out there, and she likes other things, but that's her number one.
That has to be the worst thing I've ever heard.
We were in New York, and we were in Central Park, and Adam said something man, it'd be so great just to have a picnic right here. And she chimes in, and she was with some egg salad sandwiches, and it was just really funny. But she loves a lot of really bizarre things that nobody else likes.
Would pick Subway and Arby's.
She loves Arby's, loves Arby's. She loves Subway. She doesn't like Chick-fil-A. It's kind of criminal. I just got her on steak, and that was a big deal.
Well, you also need to get her on meds.
That's also really
she needs help.
What else? Yeah, pasta salads, egg salads, tuna salad. She's just those mixed salads kind of person, I guess.
Just the worst kind of person.
Yeah, it really is,
I'm just kidding.
Acquired. I do like all those things, but to say they're in your top foods ever.
I know.
Well, and the worst part about the egg salad sandwich, I'm just going to talk about the
Charlotte's going to skip.
She literally went on a trip to England, and she specifically references an egg salad sandwich she got out of a vending machine as one of the best sandwiches she's ever had. Yeah. And being I love food. That's atrocious.
It just hurts a little too much.
Yeah, it stings a lot. So,
wow.
Yeah. So on our anniversary, I'm just going to take her to Subway.
Or a vending machine.
Or a vending. Just find the nearest vending
Top
machine.
tier
Like, you pick
Michelin.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's on me.
This is a 5-star Michelin vending machine right here, baby. All
Yeah.
right. We're going to move on. Sorry,
Sure,
Charlotte,
sure.
for just shatting on you. The Lighthouse.
Oh, man. I've been
Number 39.
so ready to talk about this one.
Okay, 2019. We got a lot of takes on
We
this
do,
one.
yeah.
Okay, some spicy ones.
I actually
And some
don't know a lot
even
of them. I'm gonna
spicier
put the phone
ones.
away and let you just read them to me.
Okay, well, our boy Nick Fleece,
Was
who
waiting
he
on
submitted
this
a lot of
name.
hot takes last time.
Yep.
He's a true fan.
You know what I think of Nick as, like, you know, the critic in Ratatouille who like comes into the restaurant. Everyone's like really scared of like what's he gonna say? That's how I see Nick when he comes up. Like, this guy's about to flame us for something.
Totally. He flamed me a few times.
Because last time he asked if we had any like Jalos films, and both of us were like,
I literally I had to like look it up before the.
He's next level.
I know, and we're saying we're film lovers. I know it's
We had split in the top
just
50s.
embarrassing. Yeah, I know. Okay, we're moving on. Nick loved this movie. One big symbol, which okay, just to preface, okay, Nick is a film lover. All right,
Yeah.
So
No doubt about it.
you know, one big symbol you guys missed is the lighthouse as a phallic symbol, with the elusive light being at the head of the lighthouse. For those of you who don't know, phallic means penis. This plays into the themes of toxic masculinity present throughout.
I totally forgot about this.
Yes, it gets better. My main complaint with the film is the lack of male nudity.
The lack?
The lack of.
Fair enough.
You know, as we were all thinking. For a film that consists of 98% male screen time, to only have female nudity is annoying. There should have been naturalistic nudity in many different scenes to give it an even grittier feel. I do completely agree with the contrast of you have this female nudity.
You got to make the scales balance a little more.
Yeah. Scales, mermaid scales.
Oh my gosh.
That was
look
good.
at us.
No, that was really good. Okay. One of the scenes or shots that this really annoyed me was when Defoe's character attacks Pattinson's while he is naked. We see him from his right side with his right leg forward, just happening to perfectly block his penis from view. This made the staging feel unnatural to me.
Wow.
A lot of this is due to censorship. Eggers stated that when he pitched it to A24, it had an erection in it. I recall reading that it was going to transition from a shot of the lighthouse to an erection, which would further the phallic symbolism I mentioned earlier. The producers greenlit everything except they wouldn't allow it to be NC-17, which it most certainly would have been. I think this is unfortunate, but would have caused the movie to get even less publicity than it did, so I understand. I still think he should have made a director's cut, though. So I guess my hot take is that the movie should have been more sexual rather than less.
That is a take right there. I totally, I can definitely see what he's saying.
Nick, we love you.
But
that is crazy.
Indirectly advocating for an erection being in the film is pretty crazy. Because I don't know if I would have wanted. Well, that's fair. But also
crazy, not in a sense of I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I disagree. I just think, it's just a wild statement. I've never heard anyone say, man, I just wish there was an erection in this film.
Yeah, the only thing I definitely agree with is, like we said, evening out, the male versus female nudity, because there's one female mermaid barely in the film, but she is exposed in certain ways. And I get that for sure. But that is crazy. Although now that I think about it, have you ever seen, this is getting really weird, an erection in film?
No.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen an NC-17 film.
I guess I haven't either.
And I don't think that you can have one in a film without it being NC-17.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That's a very interesting,
But I feel like very rare. I mean, now TV shows are getting way more, risky.
Game of Thrones, you see a lot of.
You see Euphoria. You see even more.
For sure.
But I was going to say, film, you just really don't see
I actually saw it's going down. There's a statistic that said that nudity in film. I just knocked my whole mic. Dang it! But nudity in film is decreasing over time, which is really interesting to me. But
it is interesting.
Anyways,
we're gonna get back to the day where ankles are hot.
Yeah, can't wait for that one.
Oh man,
because then
you're good.
I'm good. My socks cover my ankles.
Our next one from Kaylee Gatlin. The Lighthouse was boring, and I'm kind of surprised it was on the list. I'm sorry.
Listen, okay, if she was here right now, my question to her would be, how many times have you seen it? Because I told Adam this the other day. First time I watched it, I can kind of get that. for some reason, watching it a second time, I loved it. The second viewing, put it for me in this list.
Which, here's the thing. So Kaylee's one of our great listeners. She actually listened to all of our episodes, and she goes and watches the films after she listens if she hasn't seen it. I know. She's awesome.
Wait, is she somebody you know?
Andy's wife.
Andy's wife. Okay. Yeah. I know her.
So
what an angel. Wow.
I know. But I completely agree because we talked about that. Whenever I first saw this, I really liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this horror film is one of the best ever made.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time we watched it, I was like, yeah, it deserves
I remember the first time watching it wanting more horror, more of that oh my gosh, you walk out, kind of like Hereditary or something where it's so shocking. You're just I'm going to think about that for a while. But this one's different. It's just a different kind of horror.
And knowing Egger's capabilities with horror from The Witch before this, he has the capacity to get there.
Then this year, Nosferatu.
So I know.
I'm pretty stoked for that one.
Yeah, dude.
Not gonna lie.
Anyway.
This ice is clinky.
Sorry.
It's clinking.
All right. The next one.
Side effect.
You're good. The next one, our girl Kelsey LaCourse.
Woo!
She is riding Kaylee's wave.
I hate that girl.
The Lighthouse.
Not Kaylee.
Was just.
Damn it, never mind. Forget it. Whatever.
The Lighthouse was just not for me.
Fair.
I am all for metaphorical horror, but I felt like this was just really all over the place, chaotic, and just not my cup of tea. The movie was too long, and I would have enjoyed this type of content more as a 30-minute short film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lover of creativity, solid acting, and beautiful films, so from that aspect, it was great. And I know it's technically classified as horror, but I struggle giving it the Kathy LaCourse horror movie stamp of approval. Also, my husband won't stop saying, "Why'd you spill your beans to me?" And I'm really upset about that now. So
that's funny. I wonder if they watched it. I mean, after around when we released the episode, or if he's pulling that line on her. If they watched it more recently, or if they watched it.
I think they watched it more recently.
Okay, yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, I get it. It's definitely not for everybody. There's people you could show this to who love horror, and they're gonna hate that film. But
this isn't one of those films either that you're at a party, and you're like, let's put a horror movie on.
You guys want to watch The Lighthouse?
The Lighthouse, yeah. All right, the last one from my wife, Marin Ragsdale. Aesthetically pretty and clever, not a good horror movie. So that's a little.
Wow, she went straight for the
throat.
Yeah,
I know.
I disagree. Obviously, it's on the list. But
I completely agree.
Just kidding. I appreciate the thoughts.
Yes, thank you.
Pray for you.
We'll pray for you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next film, number 38, Sinister, 2012. We have one submission from this one, and it's from our cameraman, our boy, Anson Wilson.
Daddy Ann.
Anson said, this should have been higher on the list, as in a lower number.
Yeah.
So it's sitting at number 38.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth on this. And the reason why is because whenever I first watched this, it was really high up on my list. I mean, you remember that.
I remember that. Our early drafts had it a lot higher.
And
lower,
then
however you want
I
to
watched
look at
it again recently, and I moved it lower only because of the other films on the list. So I was just constantly comparing okay, well, I thought it was great, but it was missing this, and this.
Yeah.
But I understand, especially, I just met Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
No, yeah, you don't need to bring that up.
And that dude, I asked him the one question I asked him.
Did you ask him about Sinister?
I asked him, I said, Sinister or The Black Phone? Which one's a better horror film? Because he's in both.
Shut the
front
door.
But he plays the antagonist.
Did not tell me this.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you?
You SOB.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, tell me. I want to hear.
Okay, so he was in Black Phone recently, and obviously he's the antagonist in that, and he's the protagonist in Sinister. So he said he thinks that Black Phone is a better horror film, but Sinister is much scarier.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it has a better.
Wow,
the score is so much better. And I was like, he was like, yeah, the score is so good. And I was like,
interesting.
Yeah. Gotcha. I was like, yeah, my guy.
I'm so mad that was sold
I mean?
out. I cannot believe I missed that. But
I know.
Wow, that's great. I can't believe you got to ask him that.
I know. It was fun. So
all right.
That's his hot take about Sinister.
Thank you, Ethan Hawke, for your submission.
Thanks, Ethan Hawke. We really value your submission.
Crazy.
All right, number 37, Paranormal Activity. We don't have a lot from this one.
Yeah.
Kelsey said, we totally just shat on Mika.
Not her words exactly, but that's how she pretty much
I'll stand by it. Mika's sucked.
Mika's the worst.
Mika's the reason that everything went wrong.
Yes. So
somehow.
He is the worst. Okay. Which we should like rate characters that are the worst after this.
Yeah, right now it's Mika and the dad from Orphan, I feel like. So it's a race right now.
Oh yeah. That's
oh my gosh.
So bad.
The clink and then just like a
hey,
like that's all you're getting on my side.
We love it. Hey, at least we have 2 mics, you know. It's not like that one episode where we had to share one mic and we were only wearing socks.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
That was crazy, and it was super hot in this room.
Living out our youth, you know.
Okay, moving on. Number 36, Talk to Me, 2023.
Talk to me.
We got a few on this one. So,
yeah.
First one, Instagram submission from our boy Jacob Curran. Deserves to be much higher on the list, let alone ahead of The Conjuring 2.
Wow.
So that was the take compared to The Conjuring 2. So
I appreciate that it's, you know, they didn't have the resources that The Conjuring 2 had, you know, in terms of like studio value. Like
as far as cheesiness goes, I agree because Conjuring 2 had way more elements of cheesiness. The thing though that I go back to, there are 2 things that the reason why I disagree. Number 1, the stakes of Talk to Me were not as high because we didn't love the main character.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is, I forgot her name already. But like,
yeah,
the writing doesn't make you love her. So whenever things are happening to her, you're like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I remember we talked about that. And the other one was literally just the painting room scene. So yeah. In The Conjuring 2, I just think that scene is just awesome.
It is tough. I think Talk to Me is obviously such a great film. Yeah. And I would say actually I respect Talk to Me more as a film than I do The Conjuring 2. But Conjuring 2, they do, I mean, James Wan does know how to do it right. And he gives us a few moments in that film that are like just really good. So it's hard. And I respect it.
This might be a hot take. So I think if you were to compare the best scenes from each one, I would take Talk to Me. Because Talk to Me has the hell scene.
That scene.
That compared to the nightmare or the hallway sequence, painting room and Conjuring, I might like more just because it's so quick. They really lean into the, less is more.
One of the creepiest
and
scenes.
It's so creepy.
I feel like we've watched so far on the list just because it feels too real. Like, you're just like,
I know. So,
yeah.
That was a good submission, Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. From the next one, Jack Groves. Talk to Me was the best horror of 2023 and is inspiring a new generation of producers trying to get YouTubers into movie theaters. I predict that in the next few years, we're going to see a serious explosion of companies like Neon and A24 yoinking talented horror creators from YouTube and getting them film details.
Is that your words? Yoinking?
Film deals. Golly. Yoinking was his word.
That is awesome.
So,
I'm going to start using that. I think there's going to be kind of a rise in those, people who just have, because that's how I see the filmmakers behind, I forget their names. But anyways, I mean, you can tell they're just passionate about film and what they're doing. And they're so talented. They just may not have all the resources that, other people might have, but they're still able to make, when they do get some of those resources, they tap into it and just make something brilliant.
I know. Well, and that's why I
think that will be continuing down the road.
If you can prove that you can make a really sick film with like a lower budget, like just imagine what you can do with a higher budget, which I saw A24 is making another film with them. We talked
really. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Do they already have a title for that or anything? Or is it just?
I think they did. I just forgot it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Sorry, guys. All right. Next,
Talk to Me.
Oh my gosh, we talked about this. So stupid. Yeah. Marin, my wife, she said, Talk to Me should have been a short film. Would have been better. Backstory and everything from with the main girl feels forced and kind of boring. Would have been more effective as just the main party scene, maybe. Also, even though I won't rewatch, I do think it's one of the best horror movie endings ever.
Yeah, I remember because she watched it we had like a big watch party for that one. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So best horror movie endings ever. Here's the thing. I think it was a clever horror movie ending.
It wraps up flawlessly,
yes.
I will say.
Yeah.
I love the ending.
Yeah. So that was fun.
But there are a lot of great horror endings that we also have to think about. So
I also love and this is, controversial from people who I don't know. I'm going to not say that. People who don't love horror films.
Yeah.
Film endings that don't end well.
Yeah.
There has to be a term for it, but like people that prefer endings to movies that are really good.
Yeah.
Versus movies that just don't end perfectly, like La La Land.
Yeah.
wouldn't say the perfect ending, but I appreciate it way more because it doesn't have a perfect ending.
Yeah, and sometimes you can tell they like forced it, but when it feels seamless and there is that kind of abrupt ending that you're like, oh my gosh, like that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, they just killed off the main person for the sake of you being like, oh my gosh, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
But
I feel like it was very clever.
I like the ending for that one a lot. So I agree. I don't agree though that it'd be better as a short film. I think it would just be hard to like unpack. It's not even like there's not so much to like understand about the film. It's just more about the timeline of things, that slow burn that's going on. Mm-hmm. And like with Riley, the brother, like being in that, you know, hell, like that would have been hard to just throw into the party scene. And I loved that scene so much. So I don't know. But I mean, I could not say they couldn't make it a short film, but I like it as a feature film.
I could have seen it as a short film and like doing well in festivals before it got made into a feature, but yeah.
Like a lights out situation.
Yeah. And then the last one is from your boy, Nick.
Oh, I thought it was like you. I was like, what? Okay. Nicky T. He said, when I saw Talk to Me on the list, I thought it should belong in the top. I just said belong. So like I enunciated that so much. I'm sorry. I thought it should belong in the top 5 on your list, but then I listened to the podcast and I agree with everything you said, and having time spent away from seeing the movie brought down the hype for me. Now I think it sits just right. So this one's obviously kind of folds in on itself because he like started, and I remember him telling me that in person. Like when I saw it on the list, I was like, Talk to Me belongs way, and who's the person that just said that? It belongs closer.
Jacob Curran.
Yeah. So he's not alone in that, but he said after listening to our thoughts, and then, you know, he's like, maybe it belongs there. But
yeah,
sounds like that's one of the continuing hot takes, though. People think it should go down a little deeper into our list.
And this is the problem with rating films. And I will say, I've listened to a lot of film review podcasts. I don't see a lot of them ranking, you know, their films. They're more sporadic.
Rankings are hard.
Rankings are really hard because they change like all the time. Like, again, going back to, if you haven't watched the film recently, it's tough because then you rewatch it and you're like, oh, I don't know if I would agree.
With that critical lens too.
Yeah.
Rather than just like eating pizza on somebody's couch. But
yeah,
no, I think that's fair. I think if I was going to advocate for any film recently being much lower or higher, however you want to look at it, Talk to Me is a good candidate.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I agree. All right. The Ring, number 35. Not a hot take, but my mom submitted one. She said, yes, Hans Zimmer, the man can literally do it all.
I still cannot believe Hans Zimmer. Good grief. Zimmer did that movie. I mean, that's unbelievable.
And then the same director and Hans Zimmer went to make Pirates. So that's...
Oh my gosh, I forgot the director. Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember watching the film with you, and we talked about this in that episode, but like, this music's like unnaturally good. And then you look later and you're like, well, duh, it's because Hans Zimmer is behind it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he killed it.
I know. All right, next one. Aliens, number 34, 1986.
This one is thick.
It is a thick one.
We've got some comments on this one.
It's funny because primarily from one person. So
love it.
And that person is me, Madre. Okay, first one from Jack Groves. Ripley in Aliens is giving mother.
Not hot at all. But I totally agree.
It's a great take.
That is a great take.
It's very, I wouldn't even say
she's
lukewarm.
Like, what's so funny is, and this is just such a buzzword now, like mother, but like it's effective because literally watching the movie, it's like seeped into my brain because she'd do things. I'm like, mother, just give him mother. And I was like, why am I thinking that way? I'm thinking like a freaking Gen Z, which I guess I am Gen Z.
I was thinking, I know that Newt, the girl who played Newt, did not.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the last film she ever did, you know?
Oh, yeah.
No wonder though. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're not going to max out Ripley being your mother figure. So
Yeah.
She's like, that is my peak. I'm done.
Ripley is mother.
Ripley is mother. Thank you, Jack. All right. Next one, Deanna Ragsdale. And this is funny. So my mom's biggest hot take is that she was not a guest.
That's hilarious. I would have loved to have your mom on this.
Because she said this is like her favorite horror film of all time.
Whoa.
So, and I was thinking, like, what if
What if both of our moms were on?
Yeah, so that would be wild.
That would be wild.
It would just be
Deanna?
My mom getting mad at me for saying stupid stuff. But that would be
It would just be us having to censor ourselves the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That would be so fun, though.
All right, so my mom said, I'm going to run through these. She's a lot. So her favorite scary movie of all time. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But that's coming from somebody who doesn't really watch a ton of scary movies.
There are worse ones to pick.
Yes. Also, it might be a hot take that you call it scary. I'd say it's more suspenseful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she says, great action with amazing music. Y'all were saying, can you imagine seeing this in the theater in 1986? And I'm like, yes, because I did. I have
subtle flex.
I know, such a flex. That's freaking awesome. She was 15. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And she had to sneak in because of rated R.
Oh.
So she's a rebel.
Wow.
I know.
All right.
Century 21 Theater in Battlefield Mall in Springfield, Missouri, with her two sisters and one of their friends. She said the jump scare when the alien comes through the vehicle's door, she was holding her knees to her chest because of the intensity of the film. So she had not seen Alien yet when she was 9 whenever it came out. And she says she watched it after and thought it was so boring compared to Aliens.
Wow.
Which, calling it boring is a pretty hot take. I would say it's
very
much
different.
Slower.
You just rewatched Alien.
I did
theaters.
Get to rewatch it.
They had a special at the theater.
Oh, man.
So
and that was an amazing experience.
Yeah. FOMO again.
Yeah.
It's fine. Ethan Hawke, Alien premiere. It's fine.
I know. She said, I'm going to have to say that a hot take is that you didn't watch the extended version. The scene where Ripley finds out about her daughter dying 2 years before she made it back home is gut-wrenching, especially since Burke the Jerk gave her the tragic info. It makes total sense why she was so protective of Newt. Why they cut that scene in the first place, I don't know. Also, in the extended version, Newt has a brother and she's scavenging the planet with him. And this is Carrie's brother in real life.
Really?
So that's a pretty crazy fun fact.
Huh. Okay.
She loves Michael Bihn's voice. She became a Paxton fan from this, didn't we all? We
love that guy.
Rest in peace. Super huge hot take and spoiler for Alien 3 is that Ripley, Biehn, and Newt plus Bishop worked so hard to survive in Aliens, and only Ripley survived the crash on the prison planet at the beginning of Alien 3.
For real?
Yes, which I totally forgot. I haven't seen that in a long time.
So she's the sole survivor after all
So
that.
it starts with everyone else having died except for Ripley.
Well, that's an issue with whoever
wrote that.
wrote that one.
Dude, can you Cameron and Scott were probably so pissed.
That's just for the sake of like shock factor.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be terrible.
She said Vasquez was so versatile, but she wasn't Hispanic. She's a white woman.
No way.
She's the Irish mom in Titanic. Apparently, I don't know if this is true.
She's just like so maybe super fact tan?
Check. I think they spray tan. They did something to make her look Hispanic.
That is,
which I was like,
not okay.
Oh my god!
Holy crap!
I know.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't put that in the trivia for us, but that's crazy.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
I'm flabbergasted.
So okay, moving on. Don't agree with that move.
That's terrible.
Great BTS on the movies that made us. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's on Netflix.
I've seen like the one for Jurassic Park and a couple of others.
There's one for Aliens.
Really? Okay.
So good.
I'd love to watch that one.
There was a quote from it. Sigourney kept the crew together. They wanted to leave Cameron, but they stayed for her. And everyone loved Bill Paxton on set.
Really?
So I can't remember. I watched it. I can't remember why they wanted to leave, but Sigourney's the one who kept them.
Wow.
So
look at her.
Giving mother.
Mothering
all over. She's mothering all over the place.
Mothering all over.
Other cool BTS came during the re-release of Alien in the theater this April, its 45th anniversary. Original director Ridley Scott sat down with the new Alien Romulus director Fede Alvarez. Oh my god.
Okay.
Names, man.
I bet that's
They talked for about 15 to 20 minutes about the making of Aliens. It was really cool.
I'm very excited for that one. I hope they do it right.
Oh my gosh, I know. Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, that's a great casting choice though. Mm-hmm.
She's on the up and up.
We'll see.
Did you know that Biehn, Paxton, and Henriksen, who play Hicks, Hudson, and Bishop, were all in Cameron's film Terminator in 1984? So I guess he's one to kind of work with the same
reuse.
Cast. Mm-hmm.
I respect it.
Cool fact that Carrie Henn never acted again, went on to become a teacher of 4th grade, the grade she missed while filming Aliens.
Wow.
Which is very
What's it like to just move on from like one of the greatest films and like, I'm just going to be a teacher now.
Can you imagine being in 4th grade and somebody's like, psst, hey, our teacher, yell at her. She's new. Aliens.
That would be crazy.
That would be super
good for her,
wild.
though, you know?
I know.
She didn't need it.
Yeah. All right. So she said, y'all mentioned a couple times that Spielberg had copied some things from Aliens with Jurassic Park, and they do say that
that imitation is the best form of flattery. So, for example, the trackers, great homage in Jurassic World when the Marines have those same kind of trackers on them. Also, being on a different planet, an island where you're the prey, and the science factor, the amazing cast and music, the Dilophosaurus. I don't know what how it's, I guess, reminiscent of Alien. To the plane landing on Isla Sorna when Dr. Grant was tricked, like Ripley being tricked to think they were going back to rescue people and destroy the aliens, not become hosts to them to bring them to Earth. So,
yeah.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Cameron's Avatar 2009 had a pilot played by Michelle Rodriguez from Fast and Furious fame that had to have been a huge nod to Vasquez. She's immediately who I thought of when I saw the movie. And she is Hispanic.
Yes. Can confirm that one.
Oh, gosh. 7 Oscar nominations for a sci-fi horror is incredible.
That is great.
The mishap, she said, our mishaps mountain, the light bulb can be seen hanging inside the queen when Ripley torches her eggs and shoots her. Oh. So that's interesting.
Wow.
And overall, just shows a suspenseful, action-packed sci-fi horror can be done well without demons, ghosts, possession, or explicit scenes. Add a great cast and an amazing film score equals success. So, and obviously Cameron is one of the biggest filmmakers of all time.
Yeah. For 2 seconds, I was so confused. I thought you were like talking about me, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about? James Cameron.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I'm coming on the scene.
What Aliens was missing, though, was paint me like one of your French girls.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like when the alien, that cutscene, the alien asks Ripley to paint.
That should have been in like one of the scary movie spoof films.
Maybe a hot take, but I don't believe aliens are real. Thanks, Bob.
Interesting.
Otherwise, she said this film would have caused her to never sleep again. But that's how I enjoy it, because I don't think it could happen. Could it? Lastly, you're welcome, Adam, for introducing you to scary films and great film scores like this one. What mom watches The Walking Dead with her son and takes him and their friends to see Alien and Predator sequels, and also to the prequels.
I love that.
That's so funny, because she did take me to see Prometheus and some of the Alien versus Predator films. So,
do you believe in aliens? Lightning round?
Oh man, that's a good question.
I definitely do.
I believe I do, but I feel like not in the way that most people do.
I was going to say, I believe in I think if you were to say there's like a lizard on some planet far away, I'd be like, yeah, that's technically an alien.
Yeah.
I think that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
hey, why limit God? You know what I mean?
Hey,
I'm not putting him in a box.
Maybe there's another version of me out there somewhere.
Yeah. Dameron.
And he's an alien.
And he's super cute.
He sucks.
Okay, moving on. Number 33, Pearl.
Oh.
2022. Nice. We got some submissions from our boy Nick Fleece.
Heck yeah.
He said Robert absolutely needs to cut off his pinky. Because we talked about Robert cutting off his pinky for the film.
Yep. That's true. I was like, wait, what?
He said Shades of Brand New Cherry Flavor is a show that deals with doing extreme things on camera for a movie. Never heard of
our
that.
Application.
I know. He said, dude, the Technicolor adds so much to the melodramatic feel of the movie. Whack ass hot take, Adam. Which is so funny.
It was a hot take from you.
Oh, I know. That's probably my worst hot take. I will agree. But I still stand on the fact that I think there were certain shots that were too oversaturated.
Die on that hill.
I don't hate the Technicolor, okay?
No, you just hate the film. I just
hate the film, and I hate everything about everyone that submitted. No, I think it was just too oversaturated. In a few shots. Okay.
Well, that's fair.
He says, I've been thinking about the choice to use a stag film in Pearl a lot. I think it has a place, but could have been executed cleaner. It seems that A Free Ride is a super famous stag film, so much so that it has its own Wikipedia page. So I'm sure there were people that recognized it when they saw Pearl. This would have added the effect of adding some realism into the period piece aspect of the movie, I suppose. I think they should have just cut a few of the more explicit frames out to be fair to the audience.
I think that's
a great take.
I think that's a great take. I think I agree if it's like already a very, famous, infamous film, like if people would have recognized it, just don't show us the parts that maybe you don't want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then his submission for a worst film title is La La Land.
So, dang it. I wish we used that. That would have been
completely original. I've never heard that for another film.
Nate, do you want to take my spot? I feel like you'd be better at this. That's awesome.
All right. Our girl Kelsey starting this hot take off by saying, I loved this movie. But I waited for a few years to watch this one because I honestly thought this was going to be a hard watch. Then it actually really wasn't.
I was kind of the same, yeah.
There were a few moments where I felt like Pearl was going to do something more diabolical, and she didn't. And I kind of wish she did.
Wow.
I watched most of the movie with a shrug and a verbal "oh" after, but I also think this was a reason I actually enjoyed it. Haha. Maybe I'm desensitized at this point, but I do wish they would have explored the deranged mind of Pearls even more so.
Wow.
So Kelsey's saying feeding her dad to the alligator, dragging her mom down the stairs after burning her alive, stabbing her boyfriend with a pitchfork.
Chase the girl down with the axe.
They're not enough.
Kelsey, that's some hot stuff, because I feel like she is just completely unhinged. But I mean, that's a very interesting take, and that's why we have these episodes.
I know. Hey, I respect the take, okay?
If you need help, just call us. We'll talk to you.
You know, I guess she was expecting something way worse, though.
Yeah.
You know.
I get that.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. She just wanted Pearl to do more.
Yeah.
Killing two gooses.
Gooses.
No, the geese wouldn't have. The geese community would have hated that.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about like specifically her chopping up that girl into pieces and like feeding the arms and legs to the gator. Like,
the slow shots.
That was crazy.
Of her just the arms being cut off.
Kelsey, that was some spice.
Kelsey's eating popcorn like
she's like,
this isn't enough.
Whatever.
I wish I had seen some arteries in this one.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny. All right, last one. My mom hasn't seen Pearl, but couldn't believe we said Mia's performance was better than Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. So here's the thing, okay? Mia's performance from an acting perspective was much more weighty than Sigourney's, but Ripley is a much more iconic character. So 100%. I wouldn't say... We're not talking about the character being iconic.
Yeah,
we're talking
Ripley
about the acting from...
might be one of the most iconic female characters of all time.
Yeah.
Pearl's definitely not, but Mia Goth as an actress was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah. No, I understand. All right. Number 32, The Conjuring 2. So we only had one submission for this one, and it was from Cameron. He actually had one more, and he said that he wished that this was our number one film.
Oh, it's like, where are you going with this? Did I say something?
No, our notes are empty. We don't have anything.
Yeah, this one's blank. You guys all suck.
No, we didn't have any submissions. That's because everyone thinks this is a perfect film.
Yeah,
and
we put it in the perfect spot.
Our hot takes were so perfect, there was nothing else to say.
I actually did have somebody text me that. They're like, we just agreed with everything you guys said, so we have nothing. I was like, wow.
My man. They're like, haven't listened, but agreed with everything.
I agreed with it.
That's funny. Number 31, Carrie, 1976. Ooh. My dad, Kevin Ragsdale.
Okay.
I disagree that you found it super weird De Palma called up Steven Spielberg because of the girls.
Ooh.
He has a reason.
Scorching.
No way was it weird back then. There was no smartphone, no internet, no way to connect, so totally not weird. My buddies and I used to go to the mall for hours upon hours on a Saturday to find girls before I hit 16. My mom would drop us off for an entire Saturday.
I get that. I guess
it depends on.
So I think age does play. Are these like grown men on the film?
I think it's the fact. So I don't disagree with my dad. I see what he's saying.
Yeah, I get it.
I think it feels weird. The only reason it feels weird is because these girls in the film are playing teenagers in high school.
Yeah.
But they're probably, I mean, they could be in their 30s and maybe Spielberg's in his 30s.
Back then, it was definitely normal to do that. So, okay. You're shedding light on it. I get it. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We were pretty harsh on that one scene.
We were really harsh.
We might have gotten a little out of hand there.
All right. He said the shower scenes. Not sure why the 70s and 80s were okay with high school girls' shower scenes. I know.
I almost said something. Never mind.
What?
No, it's fine.
It actually wasn't weird then, but it certainly is now. Example, 16 Candles.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's that way now, but I believe there was so much going on in that space of learning and then implementing ratings and what was appropriate and not.
For sure.
Although it feels like our value systems have gone down comparatively to then, I also look at how our value systems have increased as to appropriate on screen with ratings.
Yeah.
A very interesting way to look at inappropriateness and where we've come in the space. So it is, fascinating. Yeah. The generation of trial and error with the actress's eardrum being blown. Again, totally part of the time period where people weren't looking at the safety as opposed to testing what worked and didn't. Now with the laws and lawsuits, it's just a completely different time.
Yeah, that's also really fair. It's actually really valuable to hear their perspectives from that time because we just think of right now how crazy those things are, but it's like, yeah, you do need to think about
so
the timeline.
Thank you for that insight into that time 80 years ago. Just kidding, my dad's not 80. So okay, Nick Fleece, I actually agree with just about everything y'all had to say about Carrie, which I was scared.
Wow.
Nick, okay, I was scared.
Are we
were both scared, Nick, because we saw your comment on our post on Instagram that it was like,
he said like finally,
about time, or finally,
something like that.
And we were like, oh no, he's gonna hate our hot takes because we kind of just shat on it a little bit. But so it's nice to hear that. But he does have some good takes. So
thank you for the level. Nice.
Thanks, Nick. The level of full frontal nudity in the locker room scene is completely unnecessary and exploitative. I do think the writing and acting in that scene is excellent and really sets the stage of the film, though. Here are my thoughts on the motivation of the scene.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like that one review you guys read, it creates a juxtaposition. I just think what it's juxtaposing is different than that person said. It's not contrasting the idealized female body in menstruation. Opening with a bunch of naked girls throwing towels and stuff shows the audience that these girls are comfortable with their bodies and not filled with shame. We then see Carrie terrified and ashamed with what her body is doing, and the same girls that are comfortable with their bodies are then bullying her for hers.
Well, you kind of cooked on that one.
I totally agree.
Yeah, that was good.
Cooking. This idea, however, is completely ruined by De Palma zooming all over Carrie's body when she is showering before she starts menstruating. 100,000%.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes it seem that Carrie is comfortable too. She absolutely should have been trying to hide her body to make the message consistent. So why did De Palma shoot it like this? Well, number one, De Palma is a creep and wanted to film a dozen naked young women and wanted the attention that would bring to drive viewers. Exploitation, plain and simple. I do think it would have been hard to have the same message in this scene without the nudity of the others. I was first thinking, would it make more sense to just have them in their underwear? But that's still hiding themselves. Just topless? Well, then the only thing covered is the same location that menstruation would later occur. Just bottomless? That's just weird. What the heck am I writing? This is weird. All right, here's how you do the scene less exploitative. They are partially clothed in the locker room. Maybe some naturalistic nudity, but it's not shot erotically. Carrie is in the showers, keeping herself covered. Another girl gets in the shower next to her and is much less ashamed, creating the juxtaposition. Then the menstruation begins and the rest plays out the same.
Wow. He nailed that. I love too the critique, the understanding, but then here's how I would have presented it. I think that's really good.
I totally agree.
I can picture that pretty well.
I think that was chef's kiss.
That was great.
That was a great take, Nick. Also, I have no memory of the sped up talking scene you guys mentioned.
Well, go watch it.
It's been a while since I've watched it.
You were in for a treat.
Nick, I got to say, I can't believe you didn't remember that scene because I just couldn't believe it.
I'll never forget it. You got to go watch it. It's hilarious.
Gosh, it is so funny. And then he said, I've just thought of something I disagreed with. I think the altering of the Christian imagery is actually more respectful of Christianity rather than less. He's using the defaced images to emphasize that Carrie's mom is misusing scripture and God's name, making sure we never get it misconstrued that she is an accurate depiction of Christianity.
I'm just kind of speechless. I have no way to defend that one.
I know.
That's a great point.
Can't defend that.
I mean, it's hard to know either way, but that's a really good argument for the other side.
I totally agree. Worst film titles from Nick: Carry On, My Wayward Daughter, Greased Pig.
I see the John Travolta reference.
Grease is in all caps. And then great. Eat shit, Carrie, which is the best quote of the film.
It's the best line.
Oh, and Adam, I'm unsubscribing after Winnie the Pooh Piglet Goes to Prom. That's by far my worst film title. Okay, my mom said, I had seen this once many years ago. It's a clever story that I think some might relate to, feeling odd and bullied and wanting to be popular and wondering what would happen if you could control the fate of everyone who hurt you. Like you said, rooting for the anti-hero of sorts. Everyone loves a good revenge story. So that ends our last 10 that we've reviewed. We did have a few submissions that were overall hot takes on the other 10 films that we reviewed.
Yep.
And that's something we wanted to say, like, on these Hot Takes Hallway episodes, we'll have this again in 10 more episodes.
Yeah.
If you have hot takes about any of the films we reviewed, feel free to submit them because we'll read them all.
Yeah.
So, from my dad, Kevin Ragsdale, his hot take about Jeepers Creepers. I know this is from the last series, but Jeepers Creepers was totally scary. So
that's fair.
We got a shot on Jeepers Creepers because we said it was not scary.
Yeah. I get that though.
But
he's also not a scary movie guy.
He does not like scary movies. He freaked out in The Vampire in
The Lost Boys?
No, I'm blanking
Twilight.
on this. Freaking Godfather director. Coppola.
Oh,
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Who directed The Godfather. Directed a Dracula film.
Really?
And my dad was terrified of this one part that Dracula floats across the floor. So I was like expecting this to be the craziest thing. And then we watch it and I was like,
I don't blame him then for thinking Jeepers Creepers is horrific.
I know. Nick Fleece had some hot takes about Cabin in the Woods.
This first one.
Cabin in the Woods. Okay. So this was our third film we reviewed.
Yeah.
And
this was early.
One of the most fun ones we've done still.
Yeah.
So Nick said, I think the actor playing Marty was pretty bad. He doesn't feel like a real depiction of a stoner, but also isn't over the top enough that it's funny. He's just in this awkward spot in the middle that's really boring to watch.
Very interesting. Okay.
So totally interesting. I wonder like if we were to see a character that was true to, I agree with the true to being stoned. Like he didn't look stoned, but like I wonder if we did see that, like how it would come across. He said, I enjoyed the movie, but I thought the world ending in the end, while obviously meant to be ridiculous, was just kind of stupid. The scope got way too big, way too fast.
That's fair.
So the first time I watched that film, I totally agreed. I was like, that was the stupidest ending I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know,
just zooms out real fast. And you're like, it's on a global scale. Everything's over.
Which I disagreed with you, Nick, until you brought it up again. So
yeah.
Also, when they say that line, we aren't the only ones watching, I had interpreted that as a meta joke, saying that the audience is also watching, not that they were referring to the ancient gods.
Oh, interesting.
So that's a good take.
Kind of breaking the fourth wall.
So he said, while I was watching, I had a prediction and I kind of liked my idea better. And this is in reference to the very ending of the film. It would have been cool if the whole operation was meant to be how horror films are filmed, rather than as a ritual sacrifice. Like if the whole organization filmed these killings to make into snuff films. This would add some meta commentary on how desensitized we've become to film violence.
That would be crazy.
Which, Nick, honestly, I love that idea. So I was like, okay, now I agree with your other hot take about the ending. Crazy enough, a long time ago, I had this idea of like, what if there was a horror film made about people shooting a horror film, but it was actually real. And the cast didn't know it was real until they were being killed.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
We're going to make this film.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
we've got to get that drafted.
All right, Nick, you can be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
He said, finally, the tooth-faced ballerina was sick. I wish that was the monster.
There were a lot of monsters that should have had more time to shine, for sure.
And then he said, side note, Adam forgetting Jamie Lee Curtis was in Halloween cracked me up.
I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh.
That was hilarious.
I look back, that's one of the most embarrassing comments I've ever made on this podcast.
One of the most iconic, like Scream Girls.
It's our third horror film review. We probably lost so many viewers.
Listeners. This.
Oh, man. Okay, then we had one more hot take from our boy, Anson Wilson, behind the camera. He had a hot take about Split.
Is it hot?
And is it really hot? He said it shouldn't have been in our top 50 at all.
Look, we get it. We kind of, that's still a good film.
It was one of those films, again, we hadn't seen in so long. And we just put it on the list and we were like,
I would have either moved it or replaced it with a different horror. Because there was a waiting in our own way, like a waiting list of films that we wanted to put on the list, but it just didn't fit the 50.
I know.
So watching that one, you're like, one of those other ones could have made it.
I know.
But it's,
whenever we redo our top 50 list,
no regrets.
At the very end of this, we'll see. We'll see where it ends up.
So, that's true.
Well, that wraps up Chamber of Chills episode number 22, Hot Takes Hallway, number 2, Return of the Spice. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to follow us at the Chamber of Chills on Instagram and TikTok. We're excited that this is our first video. We hope to continue making some more videos, so we'll be posting those as well. But until then, keep your hot takes spicy. Don't forget to submit next time.